tell us, because, everybody has their hand clasped with the European in order to do whatever it is that they do for them to have the power that they have. They always have allies, and they always use their allies until they don't need their allies anymore. Now the allies are even coming out. The president, prime minister of Philippines or whatever just came out, cussed Barack Obama out and all that stuff. That, this is wrong that you guys are killing these people. And you're not doing nothing about it? Like, you're a black president and you're not doing nothing about black people getting killed? Okay. It's not them. It's not other people. It's us. Yes, sis.
So just wanted to look at, I guess, the pineal gland.
Yeah.
Because there was some research that was done, and like certain people's pineal glands remain like not calcified, and
Right.
others was just because of, I guess, lack of vitamin D or something.
Right.
So does that mean that a calcified pineal gland represents somebody who is artificial or a certain level of it?
Well, when we look at calcified pineal glands, majority of the calcification of the pineal gland can be reversed, right? The issue that we have is that we haven't been very connected to our culture. So in ancient Egypt, they just store you in a pyramid, and the darkness will uncalcify your pineal gland. Like, that's just what would happen when you're in darkness. As our people get into more information about their true self, not artificial self that they thought black, and then, black is a word from the 11th century, but they tie that to things before the 11th century when that word existed, which means that they're living a fraud if they're doing that, right? When we really know who we are and we really tap into ourself this way, things like, people doing, tests and see if calcified pineals are calcified or are they not, or whatever like that, immediately you realize that this is something that's being done by people who are calcified. It's not like the people who aren't calcified aren't thinking about the calcified plant, just like people who have melanin aren't talking about, sunblock and stuff like that, and we need to not be in the sun, and it's skin cancer and all that stuff. It's not even a thought, because we have it. But our thing is, we've been listening to people who don't have it. We've been listening to people who don't have the coil, and using what they say as the basis for what it is to have natural hair, right? The people who don't have melanin, they're the ones that are the experts on melanin, and they got melatonin pills, and you could take these pills and then get your melanin or whatever and all that stuff, when that's not real, So what we should be concerned with is our ancient foremothers and forefathers, that calcification of pineal glands wasn't even anything in our mind. And again, like we were talking about, once you put something on paper, it's a spell. So when you have these people believing that, their pineal glands can be calcified because of whatever, they already got them, because they're thinking going this way instead of thinking going that way. Right? And everything that the opposition does is to get us to think on low vibratory frequencies that trap us into areas that because the energy is not flowing, because it's stagnant energy, that is a form of calcification or slowing down the process of reaching our higher consciousness. Right? Sis?
So for the decalcification process, you said you'd just be in the dark, but isn't the vibratory force applied within that darkness also?
The darkness creates, the darkness creates that force.
Okay.
Because when you think about, this is why people It's similar to claustrophobia, being in closed spaces. That when you go into the darkness, you're closed off from anything light. The light is the thing that creates the concept of the calcification, right? But in darkness, there's no, because the calcification is whiteness. The calcification is the pineal gland turning into a rock, a white stone, right? Like a cyst or something like that, okay? So that whiteness of the stone is the calcification. But the calcification could only happen with light. The calcification is not going to happen in darkness. So to put the individual into darkness, that compression of the darkness in their psyche, not the fact that they're in it. Because remember, like they'll be in it with their eyes open and still can't see.
So it's like getting rid of all the distractions. So basically the darkness serves as a way to erase the reality that's really happening around you so that you have a chance to heal.
To heal.
Got it.
And then this is also with when people say meditation. That's a decalcifying chamber, really and truly. Close your eyes, go in darkness, find a still, make sure your breathing is, and then things will start happening. Or like you said, healing will start happening, right? But we don't need pyramids and all that stuff right now to do that. Exactly. Once we realize that we're the temple, where does God dwell? Right? Hair is a conductor of the body's electromagnetic energy. Also, wearing hair on the top of the head protects the top of the head from the sun exposure. Channeling solar energy, improving vitamin D absorption. In men, the solar center is on the top of the head. At the front, anterior fontanel, women have two solar centers. One is at the center of the crown chakra, the other is at the top of the head towards the back, posterior fontanel. So, and then let's just put this up there too, that right, women, man, XX chromosome, XY chromosome, a Y is really an X with a leg missing. So this right here, this missing leg is a glitch in us because the real power is women. The masculine comes from women. The feminine comes from women. None of these come from this. So when we look at things like the woman has two solar centers and the males have one, should inspire women to look at themselves greater. Not because a man said it or whatever, but just because that's what the reality is. We all got nipples. Ours don't work. Right? And it doesn't work because there's DNA missing to complete us to be you. When we look at Amazon women was a culture of women, it was only women. No men there. But they had children. How is there generations of women, but there's no man in that culture? And that's going into right, some other stuff. That's just to get things moving up here so you can, raise the vibration to understand really what it's really about. It's really about majority of the people getting killed are brothers, because they're really the protection. Just like scriptures say, man is woman's helpmate. Man is woman's help. Woman's not man's helpmate. Man is woman's helpmate. And the purpose of a man is for when woman says jump, he's gonna jump. Once it's in regard, with regard to, sincerity, all that stuff, not her taking advantage of her powers, but realizing that if something's supposed to get done, any man out there, on his own, socks everywhere and stuff like that, doesn't matter. As soon as the sister comes over, we got drapes all of a sudden, putting stuff on the table and all that. Make sure you put the shoes in the cupboard. You know what I mean? Make sure the washroom's clean or whatever like that. Put the seat down and all that, but just because the sister's there. So your duty is to inspire us. Your purpose is to make sure that your sons, because all of us, regardless of our age, we're your son. And regardless of your age, your mother. Like your mother, that's just what it is. Right? And we have to get off of our high horse, that man or the whatever. And then you have to get on your high horse, that woman is really the stuff, and you guys need to humble yourselves right now. Because you can't create anything. And it's not arrogance or anything like that. That's science. And it's not. And man's not supposed to take the position of, why I got the muscles and you don't got no muscles and all that. It's not supposed to go there. It's supposed to just accept the fact that man is subordinate to woman. Right? Oh, let me just close this door. Sis, you had a question or comment?
Question and comment. So, there are cultures where, there are species that they change from male to female.
Right.
If they need to.
Right.
So that's kind of, we're so close in DNA to all the creatures anyway. But so for that on women, there are instances where
Okay, let me just put this up there. Just so. Auto. You can research that. Auto fecundity.
Okay, so that's when you change.
Yeah, that's the gender. That's the woman creating herself. Let's put it like that. Right? In ancient times, that was something that could be done. You don't need no man. That's why sun is God's most noblest image. And that's why it's called sun. Because it's masculine. So in order for the child to be created, the sperm is a spark. And that's all it is. When the sperm hits, it's a spark. And that is what creates the same thing the sun could do. Spark the ovary into doing whatever it's supposed to do naturally. Just like in ancient times, there was no periods for no 3 weeks and stuff like that. Your period, 2 days or something like that, and that's it. It's not, because of our fall, we have these accelerated things that we really don't understand as far as our biological makeup.
So at this point in reality, we're only accepting the constraints that were given around creation.
Exactly.
In ancient times, they were closer to the understanding that you could procreate
Yep.
as long as we had the vessel and the right conditions and the allspark. Because women, again, we are all born with our eggs within us.
Yep.
And even the baby who is a girl within
Has the
she
eggs as well.
So
Right.
literally we are carrying generation after generation after generation to infinity
Right.
within our wombs, and our daughters are as well.
Right.
But men, they create their sperm on demand.
Right.
So this is
And lose it on demand.
exactly. So they're carrying the spark, but we are carrying the eternal cycle.
Right.
Got it.
You are the tree of life. And it's recognizing, it's like when they say humanity. Yeah, humanity needs to do this, and we need better stuff for humanity. Humanity